Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2C TV, your global news channel. I'm Maya 2C and we come to you guys with a live coverage of the chaos and tensions in Pakistan, but also in India. We have a live feed from Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan, which has now been hit. And yesterday we also had explosions in Delhi, in India. There's a lot of reactions. Of course, the Pakistani government have now declared a state of war, even though they can't really afford economically any war with anyone. Having said that, we're going to give you guys the latest videos that's coming in. This is the live footage that we currently have from the scene of the latest attack. A direct attack on Islamabad is quite rare. But obviously around the border has been happening a lot. There is a lot to talk about here. There's a lot of fake news, and of course the mainstream media are not really focusing on the truth, but it's okay. While the BBC is currently dying, 2C TV is growing thanks to your support. We are now at, 1.2, almost 1.3 million subscribers. But as the BBC is dying because President Trump has now declared war on the BBC, well, it's okay, because you can join 2C TV Plus using the promo code RIPBBC to get 50% off annual memberships. Yes, rest in peace, BBC. This is the end. Go directly on 2C.tv or just find the link in the description, the direct link, of course. You can also scan the QR code right down here somewhere. Anyway, let me give you guys the latest videos. Several people have been killed in Islamabad and many others also injured following a gas cylinder explosion near the district courts. Let's go to the first video. Now, the biggest problem that they're currently facing right now is the reaction from the Pakistani government. The direct blame went on to the Taliban in Afghanistan, but Pakistan haven't stopped there because they want to poke their bear. Absolute idiots. They are now blaming India, saying India orchestrated this and got the Taliban in Afghanistan to hit Pakistan. Now, there isn't a direct evidence for this accusation, of course, but they want to cause chaos. Now, there have been a lot of attacks from both sides. The Taliban in Afghanistan hitting Pakistan, but also the Pakistani army hitting the Taliban in Afghanistan. We know that. And yes, we do also acknowledge that the Taliban are a bunch of nutters. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, we had another border blast in South Waziristan. This is, of course, again, the Taliban from Afghanistan hitting the northwestern parts of the country around the border. This didn't really stop because there was an explosion in Delhi in India yesterday. There is a suspect. We're going to talk about the suspect. Obviously, his name is Mohammed. Surprise, surprise. But let's talk about what happened outside the courthouse in Islamabad earlier on. A suicide bomber detonated explosives near a police vehicle, killing at least 12 people and injuring 27 others, some of them critical. Crazy stuff. Now, the biggest problem with this is, as I said, the reaction from the Pakistani government. Let's talk about the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has now blamed India, can't take it seriously, has blamed India for the suicide attack in Islamabad. We do know that the Taliban have claimed responsibility at this point for the bombing in the capital of Pakistan. But it seems like the so-called ceasefire between India and Pakistan might not be as stable as some and or sustainable as some people actually thought at first. Well, that was quite clear because you still have two neighbors, nuclear neighbors, who have fundamental differences. You're never going to have an everlasting peace. You could have ceasefire every now and then, but you can't actually have a friendly peace or alliance or anything like that. Pakistan, of course, has reacted already. They have started preemptively to move their army units, their military, towards the border with India. And this is the evidence. So this is once again, they do this regularly to mobilize their military towards the border with India. I'm not really sure what the point of this is, considering every single time they want to poke the bear, the Indian army professionally destroy Pakistan every single time. But there is a CCTV footage from the explosion in Islamabad, which we will show you now. There we go. That's the car. It was near obviously the police car. I mean, I can't really call that a car, or the police, but it's not really that authoritative. And towards the end, in the next 4 seconds, you're going to see the whole thing going up. There we go. So that was the moment of the attack. Now, as I said, the Pakistani government, specifically the defense minister, Khawaja Asif, has now said that Pakistan is at war. But he forgets that Pakistan, for the last 78 years or so, has imposed wars and conflicts on all its neighbors at some point. They're always the ones starting wars. And as I said at the beginning, the country's economy can't really afford an all-out war with anybody, let alone with India, that could easily, if they choose to, they could destroy the whole place. But they still want to poke the bear. Let's go to the next video. The problem with these attacks is that you have the government obviously posturing, but there are also innocent civilians who get killed, both in Pakistan and India, by the way, because civilians are civilians. If they're not part of the military, if they're not part of a terrorist organization, they are still civilians and they are collateral damage. And it's absolutely disgusting that no group right now in that part of the world is brave enough to face their enemy directly. The fact that you still have, for example, the Taliban, backed by Afghanistan, or backed by the Afghan Taliban, targeting civilians in Pakistan, or also the Pakistani Islamists targeting innocent Hindus in Kashmir, is vile. It's cowardice, and it just shows that they know they can't fight directly. They can't afford to fight. The Pakistani Defense Ministry have now they have declared that Pakistan is ready for revenge. Now, we're not really sure, even though Islamabad have blamed India, instead of just focusing on the Taliban, we don't really know if by revenge they mean an attack on Afghanistan, which will be the correct target. Yes, go for it, I'll back you for it. Or if they want to poke the bear and hit India for some reason. Or innocent civilians in Kashmir. If it's the first one, it's fine, because that's where the enemy is for Pakistan. We don't know what they plan to do. Let's go to the latest footage. A lot of innocent people getting killed. It's absolute craziness. Anyway, so while that's happening, we should also talk about what happened in India, because this is going both ways. And as the problem continues to escalate, we have had some weird issues, including the fact that, as I said, the Indian side, so Prime Minister Modi has now decided to hold an emergency security meeting, which will be addressing the attack in Delhi. But there is a lot of pressure on the Indian government from the rest of the population in terms of addressing it properly and actually directing the hit back and the counterattack on the real enemy. This was clearly an Islamist attack. We know that. There is a suspect. We will talk about the suspect. But for now, let's talk about what happened. This was in near Delhi's Red Fort that took at least 10 lives of innocent people, injuring several, and the fire spread to multiple vehicles. Let's go. Now, India's defense minister has now said that the country's leading investigative agencies are conducting a swift and thorough inquiry into the incident. Findings of the investigation will soon be made public. I want to firmly assure the nation that those responsible for this tragedy will be brought to justice and will not be spared under any circumstances. Let's go to the next video. So, as I said, Modi himself was actually on a visit, and he had to change his schedule. There was a security meeting today. There is also a security cabinet meeting that has now been scheduled for tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. local time in response to the explosion in Delhi. The response from the Indian government and the Indian military has not started yet. We'll wait for the investigation to finish and the evidence to come out. But we can give you guys one of the suspects of what happened in Delhi. Yesterday's attack in New Delhi allegedly was carried out by he's a doctor, Omar Mohammed. Omar Mohammed allegedly set off the car bomb in a suicide mission. He was part of an Islamist terror cell based in Faridabad. Now, Faridabad in India has had some issues with some of the communities. There have been a number of sleeper cells in those places, especially about 5 years ago. We had a number of other attacks, smaller attacks, of course. They are saying that Omar Mohammed's friend has just been caught with 2,900 kilograms of ricin, and apparently he panicked and struck alone. Now, Mozammil, who is the sister-in-law of Dr. Omar Mohammed, who is the suspect, has now come out to speak out about the suspect. Let me just quickly show you the interview, see what she says.
मेरा नाम मुज़म्मिल है।
अच्छा, ये जो डॉक्टर उमर के बारे में
इसके बारे में क्या बता सकती हूँ मैं आपको। बहुत ही अच्छा इंसान था हमारे साथ।
He's a very good man, good relationship.
बहुत अच्छे थे, इतना ही कह सकती हूँ कि उस जैसा इंसान मैंने आज तक देखा ही नहीं। उसकी तबीयत का इंसान मैंने आज तक नहीं देखा होगा। हर किसी को इंसान, हमारे घर में भी भाई है, बहन है, या देखा भी हो, पढ़ा ही है, वो बस खाली इतना ही इन्वॉल्वमेंट थी, उसे बस खाली पढ़ता था।
तो उमर के साथ कब हो गई है?
जुम्मे के दिन, लास्ट फ्राइडे को।
अच्छा, तो कोई ऐसी कुछ खास बात हो गई?
उसने फ्रेंकली बात की, बेझिझक उसने बात की।
उसको प्राइम एक्यूज्ड बताया जा रहा है इस
ब्लास्ट में।
अब का क्या कहना है इसके बारे में?
इसके बारे में मैं क्या कह सकती हूँ जब मुझे कुछ पता ही नहीं, मैं क्या कह सकती हूँ? अगर यही सवाल मैं आपको कहूँ कि आपका कोई इन्वॉल्व है, आप क्या कहोगे उसके बारे में, जबकि आप लोगों को कुछ पता ही नहीं उसके बारे में। उसी के तहत मैं भी ये कहती हूँ, मुझे उसके बारे में ज्यादा कुछ पता नहीं था, क्योंकि वो ज्यादा बातें भी नहीं करता था, आता था, बैठता था, चाय में बस, उससे ज्यादा
So now she said,
चाय
oh, he would
बोलता
just
था,
come,
चाय बस,
have tea.
चाय में
I didn't know him really.
पढ़ा था दिल्ली में।
But first she said,
फरीदाबाद
I know him, he's a good human being.
मैंने सुना है फरीदाबाद में वो पढ़ाता था, लेकिन पूरा मुझे पता नहीं। कल से हम भी परेशान थे, लेकिन मैंने पहले ही सुना था, मैं पहले ही सबको बोलती थी। वो बोलता था मैं दिल्ली में हूँ, बस ये नहीं बोलता था कि फरीदाबाद में हूँ।
उसको यहाँ से
Yeah,
बाहर
they believed him.
दिल्ली में कितना टाइम हो गया है पढ़ा एज
Why was he in
एज
Delhi?
अ प्रोफेसर
Well, doctor.
2
apparently.
साल 1.5 साल शायद।
वहाँ पढ़ा थे?
हाँ, क्योंकि मेरा बेटा 2 साल का अभी नहीं हुआ है। उससे पहले वो जीएमसी में, जब मेरी डिलीवरी हुई थी, वो जीएमसी अनंतनाग में था। उसके बाद वो चला गया, लगभग मार्च में, शायद मार्च में वो चला गया। हाँ, 1.5 साल हो गया वहाँ, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं हो गया।
इनके जो ब्रदर मदर है उनको पुलिस ने
हाँ, सवेरे उसको, इसकी मदर
Police
को
took
ले
his
गए,
mother in the morning, and
रात
last
में
night
उसके भाइयों को ले गए।
they took his brothers too, multiple brothers. So the investigation continues, of course. So it was contradictory. At one point, she was saying, "Yeah, I know him. He was a great man. He was a good human being." And then suddenly, I don't know much about him, so they can't make up their own minds. Do we still have? I'm trying to see if we still have our live feed from Islamabad. Yes, we still have our live camera in the capital of Pakistan. I'm going to get some reaction from the live chat while we are here. As I said, we will continue to, of course, be your go-to source for global geopolitical issues and everything else that happens around the world, especially now that the BBC is going down, because President Trump is now suing them, potentially by Friday. But we are going to be focusing on what we should be doing, which is, of course, to help you guys also join 2CTV Plus. Use the promo code RIPBBC or Rest in Peace BBC to get 50% off annual memberships, not monthly, annual memberships of 2CTV Plus. You can do that by going directly on 2c.tv or just click on the link in the description down below. Join us, a limited offer, so that you can also enjoy the full content of the channel and download the 2CTV app. That's the most important thing that you should do. All right, so what is going on with the live chat? I do wonder if yeah, let's just quickly get some quick responses. Right. Ivan says, join 2CTV Plus. It's cheaper than the TV license. Absolutely. And we have better content. So we, of course, we have our documentaries. We have original series. We have the interview shows and also our podcasts. But most importantly, we have the chat forum, which you can't get from any other outlet. You can talk to me directly and like-minded people. And actually, after this live stream, we're going to continue this conversation on our post-live chat, which is on the chat forum on our private Discord server of 2CTV Plus. So you have to be a member to join us if you want to talk to me and others as well. Thank you, Ivan, for the shout-out. And we have more content coming up on our streaming service, 2CTV Plus. Pakistan have no idea what peace is. Yeah, to be fair, part of the mantra in Islamabad is peace is not really that important. It's all about honor and strength. They think they are some sort of Roman Empire nonsense, but because they are paranoid that their neighbor India hate them, they think that they should be vicious because otherwise the other side will be vicious first. It's a classic human tribalism which has been going on since the caveman days. It's embarrassing in 2025, but that's the world we live in. BBC equals British BS Corporation, RIP India and Pakistan. Attack 2. James says they're surely not the religion of peace. She and all her goat-loving sorts never condemned these atrocities. That was the interesting part about the interview as well, with the sister-in-law of the suspect, Omar Mohammed, was that Okay, I know she's not a politician, but she's still human. She could have at least said it was a very vile attack. My thoughts go out to the innocent people, civilians, and their survivors and their loved ones. Not really, because the victims were Indian. They don't like them, so can't really expect this from the third world people. Dylan says the highest gay community in the world. World servers found more people watching gay porn. Yes, Pakistan. Yeah, this. I think there are more gay people than Afghanistan, and that says a lot because half of the Taliban are gay. So nothing wrong with it, but the fact that they hide it and they're still in a closet is a little bit weird. Nomad says UK's good friend Pakistan again. This charged Jaish al-Mohammed to do a suicide attack in Delhi. 10 died and many others injured. Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, Pakistan is still the technically ally to the UK, which after everything that we've gone through with India, you would think that, and the relationship with the Commonwealth members, you would assume that from the beginning the relationship should be slightly different. You don't have to necessarily, as Britain, you don't have to see Pakistan as an enemy, because then they did develop nuclear. But the diplomatic relationship with those countries has been shambolic from the Foreign Office in Westminster and the rest of the Western world as well. Now the excuse coming from Buckingham Palace and the Foreign Office is we have to keep Pakistan close because we don't want it to get too close to China. Well, what was your excuse 20 years ago or 40 years ago? You could have prevented this from the beginning, but you turned a blind eye. You allowed Pakistan to be empowered by a bunch of terrorists, and now you have this weirdo government in Islamabad. Sounds like that Pakistan is trying to destroy BRICS. Well, my view is at this point still India is not the friend that the rest of the BRICS nations think they are, because India keep getting vetoed and blocked by the rest of the BRICS members and obviously the Eastern globalist bloc. But even though India was one of the essentially founding members, India's position is there because India has a good friendship with the Eastern globalists, but also the West. It's there to basically keep an eye on everything. And India plays both sides. Fair enough, because it's in the interest economically of India to be friends with their neighbors, apart from Pakistan, but also have a relationship with America, for example. Not necessarily Europe, but America. But Pakistan have different problems because Pakistan is an ally to China. China is the leading member of BRICS. Pakistan is not necessarily destroying BRICS. They wanted to join it. India didn't want it. And the Chinese Communist Party, who are backing Pakistan, will not allow, they are telling Pakistan what to do. They're not going to allow Pakistan to be an intruder when it comes to BRICS. They just have their own issues. Part of this is the fact that when the Taliban, backed by Afghanistan, attack Pakistan, it's not Pakistan's fault in that sense, because the Taliban side they do want to install an Islamic State in Pakistan. That's their plan. They've always said that the Taliban have always said we want to have a caliphate in Pakistan. That is their agenda. Doesn't mean Pakistan is a good government with everything else, especially when it comes to India, because Pakistan is the bad guy. But when the Taliban want to install an Islamic State in Pakistan, a caliphate, well, in that case, the Taliban are the bad guys. So it's just a chain of evilness that is happening all around that region. And of course, people in the West will feel their consequences because of mass migration. Pakistan doesn't want you to know that in the West that the Taliban control half of Pakistan and Pakistan has lost control. Pakistan, the government and the military, they can't control most parts of Pakistan. You still obviously have separatist movements trying to gain their own independence, and the Taliban militias who are in Pakistan or around the border, who, by the way, the official Taliban in Afghanistan say, we don't know who they are, they have nothing to do with us. Let's not forget the Taliban were also the creation of Pakistan at some point, and they were funded and supported and trained, but now they've fallen out, obviously. They can't control everything, let alone try to send their military to the border with India. Why are you getting India involved? It's just not worth it. John says, I hope my next taxi ride does not get affected. You're just going to get more taxi drivers now from Pakistan. So you're going to get more taxis if you're in New York or London. But yeah, the Taliban militias, who again, still, Afghanistan said, well, they have nothing to do with us. They have infiltrated huge parts of Pakistan. And if Pakistan wants to actually defend its so-called sovereignty, focus on the Taliban side, ignore the India issue, because it's not worth it. Pick your battles. If you want to poke the bear in India, well, that's actually going to benefit the Taliban. But they don't seem to get it. I'm not really sure what the strategy is supposed to be from Islamabad. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Now, what is this? There is a Amir Masood says, I am Pakistani. I love the Taliban. 2CTV. See, if Sharif and his friends in Islamabad are watching, these are the people you need to go and arrest. So you literally have infiltrators in your own country. You can't even control a bunch of terrorists, and you still think that you can stand up to India. It's stupidity. You literally have Taliban supporters in Pakistan. Crazy stuff. Paddy says Pakistan does with both sides of the border. One from Pakistan, second from Bangladesh. There was, by the way, there were a couple of explosions in Bangladesh this morning. They're still saying unrelated, but we got a couple of crucial days coming up in Bangladesh after a lot of corruptions and elections, fake elections, of course. So we'll find out what's going on over there as well. I'm waiting to see the reaction from the White House, which we'll find out in the next few hours. Amir is back saying Sharia is coming to India and Pakistan. Sharia is coming to India and Pakistan. Just repeating himself. Yes, he got dementia now, unfortunately. But what? I mean, you can potentially take Sharia to Pakistan. It's not going to be easy, but because there's still enough people in Pakistan who are going to not be happy about that. They don't want Pakistan to turn into another Afghanistan. But India, good luck with that. Have you seen the Indian military? They don't F about, you weirdos. Victoria says, I dated a Pakistani and then I found out his granddad was in the Taliban. They can't even control their own people. That's the thing, as I said. And there was that guy who said it earlier. The Taliban have completely infiltrated Pakistan. And they don't seem to have any urgency to stop it. Because over the last few months, over the last couple of years, Pakistan came out, especially after the attack in Kashmir on innocent Hindus. Pakistan told America, President Trump and everybody else, firstly, it's your fault because you guys told us a few decades ago, you told us to train up some Islamists. And especially back then with Mujahideen against the Russians, everything else, right? So they are saying, well, America and the West gave us money to train up some jihadis to fight the other enemies. Yeah, but not now, you idiots. The position has changed. Geopolitics changes. Now, the Pakistani government are basically saying, well, we have been trying to do a crackdown on jihadis. Why is it that you still have attacks in India, you still have attacks in your own stupid country, and you can't control your border with Afghanistan. You hit the Taliban in Afghanistan a couple of months ago. What was the result? Well, Afghanistan are still taunting you. It's embarrassing. Anybody that gets hit by Afghanistan should be embarrassed and humiliated. Have you seen those tribalists in Kabul? They don't actually have a real military. I showed you the video a couple of months ago when there was that short conflict between Pakistan and Afghanistan. The Afghans were sitting by the border while they were shooting and everything else happening, and they were basically drinking tea. And their general, who was also wearing a turban, and the whole curtain, came and dragged them saying, stop drinking tea. There is a war. Now, anyway, so what we are doing is we have to do our job better than the mainstream media, and we are, with your support. And the BBC is dying. You can't trust the BBC. So rest in peace, BBC. Use the promo code RIPBBC to get 50% off annual memberships of 2C TV Plus. This is our best offer ever. A limited deal. You can join by going directly on 2C.tv or just find the direct link in the description. And once you have your login details on the website, obviously go on the website, sign up, then you can also use the same login details to go on the app. Download the 2CTV app and log in with your username and your password that you've created. Then, of course, you get full access to everything that we have on 2CTV Plus. And we're going to continue this conversation on 2CTV Plus on our chat forum with the members of the channel. It's not the join button on YouTube. Some people click on the join button for some reason. Go on 2C.tv and then go on the chat forum on the app or on the website. Click on post live chat on the left hand side, or if you're using your mobile device, post live chat. It looks like this. We're going to continue this conversation there in the next few minutes if you want to talk to me directly and like-minded people. And subscribe to the channel. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.